She needs to be the next opening of Initial D. I agree, yes.
Well, 3 days ago.
Here is a video from Mr. Nico Loves Linux.
Well, 3 days ago.
Actually, I can show you. If we go to the GNOME GitLab. See, this one right here is going to do it. Yeah. So they now have this, like, bot detection thing here. And that's because everyone's been getting hit with fucking AI scrapers. Totally unrelated, but man, Lunduk is so toxic. I just have to say it. Lunduk is he is a interesting character. See, I used to like Lunduk. My issue with Lunduk is what he tends to do now is he likes to start fights with projects. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't appear for me. Must have not been loading correctly. He likes to start fights with projects and then report on the projects banning him. It's like, yeah, I wonder why they don't like you. Let me try another one. Anime girl? No. Okay. Well, it's already... Okay. GNOME GitLab. Can we get another one? Okay, no, it's already tested that I'm an actual person. Okay, well, we can't see it. But there would be an anime girl, and I believe it is shown in Nico's video.
DeVault, founder and CEO of SourceHut, published a blog post called "Please Stop Externalizing Your Costs Directly into My Face," where he...
I thought he wrote a blog post a while ago about this. Not one like just a few days ago. Huh. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Complained that LLM companies were crawling data without respecting robots.txt and causing severe outages to SourceHut. I went in.
Yeah, none of them respect robots.txt because all of them argue that we're not a scraper. We're an LLM, therefore we're different, so we don't have to respect those rules.
Interesting, and then moved on. Then, yesterday morning, KDE GitLab infrastructure was overwhelmed by another AI crawler with IPs from Alibaba's range. This caused GitLab to be temporarily...
That was about crypto mining. Okay. Yep. I knew I had read something similar.
...inaccessible to KDE developers. Then I discovered that 1 week ago, an anime girl started appearing on the GNOME GitLab instance as the page was loaded. It turns out that it's the default loading page for Anubis, a proof-of-work challenger that blocks AI scrapers that are causing outages. By now, it should be pretty clear that this is no coincidence. AI scrapers are getting more and more aggressive, and since free and open source software relies on public...
Well, especially ones which are not from America. Like, Alibaba does not give a shit about what some American GitLab instance is doing. Why the fuck would they care? Are you assuming that is reading this? No, then follow the fucking robots.txt. Exactly. That's what should be done. But robots.txt is a suggestion, not something that's enforced.
Collaboration, whereas private companies don't have that.
Which is why a lot of people like the GNOME GitLab guys are enforcing it.
Requirement. This is putting some extra burden on the open source communities. So let's try to get more details. Going back to Drew's blog post. According to Drew, LLM crawlers don't respect robots.txt requirements
Never have.
Include expensive endpoints such as git blame, every page of every git log, and every commit in your repository. They do so using random user agents from tens of thousands of IP addresses, each one making no more than one HTTP request.
They are doing it in a very smart way. They're not hitting it with, a million requests from one user. It's a million requests from a million users. So it's a lot harder to detect, and a lot of them will look like actual people.
Blend in with user traffic. Due to this, it's hard to come up with a good set of mitigations. Drew says that several high priority tasks have been delayed for weeks or months due to these interruptions, and users have been occasionally affected because it's hard to distinguish between these bots and actual humans. And Of course, this causes occasional outages of SourceArt. Drew here does not
Do you know what you do? Every time you want to go to the GitLab, you have to score 5 points in Snake. Just start making your bot detection the most just ludicrous bullshit you could ever think of. Obviously, that'll be annoying to the user, but it would be kind of funny. Like, you gotta, we make it extreme captures. You score 5 points in Snake. Oh, wait, here's an example. Did you guys see the Doom capture? Oh, we can actually play it. This is the Doom capture. And it's really, really fucking hard. Like, you'll be surrounded by enemies. Yeah. It just melts you.
Which AI companies are more or less respectful of robots.txt files or more accurate in their user agent reporting, but we'll be able to look more into it later. Finally, Drew points out that this is not some isolated issue. He says, all of my sysadmin friends are dealing with the same problems, and every time I sit down for beers or dinner to socialize with sysadmin friends...
Want to visit this repo? Fuse the following persona. Yeah, fuse the following persona. There we go.
Friends, it's not...
Create this ability in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Long before we were complaining about the bots. The desperation in this conversation is palpable. Which brings me back to yesterday's Kitty GitLab issues. According to
CPU
Ben,
and lights
part of
out.
the Kitty sysadmin team, all of the IPs that were performing this
win one round of Mario Tennis.
DDoS were claiming to be Microsoft Edge, funnily enough, and were due to Chinese AI companies. He mentioned that
Alibaba claiming to be Microsoft Edge. That's there is a fun level of irony there, and that's I don't know if there is that is a purposeful choice, or there's just it's a fun coincidence.
Western LLM operators such as OpenAI and Anthropic were at least setting a proper user agent. Again, more on this later. The solution for now was to ban the version of Edge that the bots were claiming to be, though it's hard to believe that this will be a definitive solution.
I also completely dissected now that it's being used as a capture. Well, there's been a bunch of, like, that's running a I would assume it's Doom.js, right? Like, when you have a game that's... Doom is basically it is the hardware test for your system, or the software test for your hardware system. Can it run Doom? If so, it is a computer.
These bots do seem to keen
it is the Turing test.
User agents to try to blending as much as possible. Indeed, GNOME has been experiencing issues since last November. As a temporary solution, they had to rate limit non-logged-in users from seeing merge requests and commit.
That explains why their GitLab was fucking insufferable to use. That makes sense now. Ah, I see.
Which obviously also caused issues with real human guests. The solution was eventually settled to switching to Anubis. This is a page that presents a challenge to the browser, which then has to spend some time doing some math and then presenting the solution back to the server. If it's right, then you get access to the website. According to the developer, this project is a bit of a nuclear response, but AI scrapers scraping so aggressively have forced my hand. I hate that I have...
Don't worry, the AI scrapers are going to work out how to get around it very fucking quickly. Because as more sites adopt that, there's going to be more testing built around it. This is not the end game. This is a everlasting war.
To do this, but this is what we get for modern internet, because bots don't conform to standards like robots.txt, even when they claim they do.
Yeah, well.
However, this is also causing user issues. When a lot of people open the link from the same place, it might happen that they get served some higher difficulty exercise that will take some time to complete. There's one user reporting a 1 minute delay to access the website, and another from
I'm assuming they're probably behind a VPN as well. And I would assume it probably keeps track of VPN IP ranges, because you're more likely to be, VPNing for that.
On having to wait around 2 minutes. Why? Well, a GitLab link was pasted in a chat room. That's it. Similarly, the same happened when triple buffering.
Oh, okay. So it's going by where the traffic's coming from.
The request was posted to Hacker News and thus received a lot of attention.
Right.
As the developer said, it's a nuclear option for Clever. How do you pronounce?
So if for whatever reason there is a higher there's a higher percentage of users heading to a specific issue, there's going to be a higher challenge to hit it, because they're going to assume there's people trying to attack it. That actually makes sense.
That crawlers to crawl. I should have looked it up. I'm sorry. But it also has human consequences. Over Mastodon, one GNOME sysadmin, Bart Piotrowski, kindly shared some numbers to let people fully understand the scope of the problem. According to him, around 2 hours and a half, they received 81,000 total requests, and out of those, only 3% passed the Anubis proof of work, hinting that 97% of the traffic is bots, an insane number.
Is that necessarily the case, or does it count as a failed attempt if someone goes to the page and then leaves when they see Anubis? Like if a regular user quits out as soon as the page comes up. I don't know if that's counted as a failed attempt. I might have to ask him.
That said, at least that worked. Other organizations are having a harder time dealing with these creepers. As an example, here's Jonathan Corbett, who runs the free and open source news source LWN, and he's warning users that the website might be occasionally sluggish due to DDoS from AI scraper bots. He claims that only a small fraction of the traffic is being served to actual human readers, and at some point the bots decided to hit us with hundreds of IP addresses at once. It's kind of fun, right? You have these... Okay, so if we go back to the 90s, there was this issue where when we started seeing like the first early web advertising, people were abusing these systems with bots. So they were using a bot to click their ad and get them more money, right? That has since been fixed. And now we've like basically come full circle, where now we once again have bots hitting these websites, but it's completely circumventing the ad system and just taking everything from it just entirely for free. The internet's a fun place. Don't identify themselves as bots, and robots.txt is the only thing that they don't read of the website. Many expressed solidarity, of course, including Kevin Fancy, sysadmin of the Fedora project. They have also been having issues with AI scrapers. Firstly, 1 month ago, they had to fight to get Pagure.io to stay alive, and things have gotten worse.
We're watching Nico's video on... a bunch of open source projects are dealing with AI scrapers that are completely shutting things down.
So they had to block a bunch of subnets, which has also impacted many real users. Out of desperation, at one point, Kevin decided to ban the entire country of Brazil to get things to work again.
Brazil mentioned! Imagine if Brazil was real.
And to my understanding, this ban is still in effect, and it's not so clear when a longer-term solution might be found. And as Neil Gompa points out, even this blocking an entire country only gets you so far, apparently. The Fedora infrastructure has been regularly down for weeks.
Well, is there any reason why they couldn't just adopt Anubis? Like, And it seems like for GNOME, Anubis is working pretty well. So I don't know if there's any reason why they couldn't just all do the same thing.
Because of AI scrapers. Another project that's been hit by this issue in the last weeks is Inkscape. According to Martin Owens, it's not the usual Chinese distributed denial of service attacks from last year, but a pile of companies that started ignoring our SpiderConf and started spoofing their browser info. I now have a prestigious block list. If you happen to work for a big company doing AI, you might not get our website anymore. And while Martin is not the only developer who has a prestigious block list, even Big Grizzly from Software was flooded by bad LLM crawlers. I just can't do it. And built a list of 400...
Just use TTS every time you want to say crawler.
And 60,000 IPs with spoofed user agents to ban. He's offering to share the list around. One more comprehensive attempt at this is the ai.robots.txt project, an open list of web crawlers associated with AI companies. They offer a robots.txt that implements the robot exclusion protocol and a .htaccess file that will return an error page when getting a request from any AI crawler in the list. We can get some more numbers about the crawlers. The scrapers, if we go a few months back.
Yeah, just say scrapers, that's easier.
By Daniel Schubert about the
is Nico Italian or something? Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Italian.
Diaspora, an open source decentralized social network infrastructure, when he says that looking at the traffic logs made him impressively angry. In the blog post, he claims that 1/4 of his entire web traffic is due to bots with an OpenAI user agent.
Only 1/4? Wow, that's, those are rookie those are rookie numbers.
15% is due to Amazon bots, 4.3% is due to Anthropic, and so on. Overall, we're talking about 70% of the entire request being from AI companies.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there we go. That's what I was expecting.
They just don't crawl one page once and then move on. Oh no, they come back every 6 hours because lol, why not? They also don't give.
You gotta make sure you have the most up-to-date information. Yay.
Flying fuck about robots.txt, because why should they? If you try to rate limit them, then they will just switch to another IP all the time. If you try to block them by user agent string, they'll just switch to a non-bot user agent string. No, really. This is literally a DDoS attack on the entire internet. A similar number is given by the Read the Docs project. In a blog post called AI Crawlers Need to Be More Respectful, they claim that blocking all AI scrapers immediately decreased the traffic by 75%, going from 800 gigabytes a day to just 200 gigabytes. This made the project save around $1,500 every month. The rest of the article is pretty impressive too. They're talking about crawlers downloading tens of terabytes of data within a few days or more, and it's hard to block them entirely since they use various different IPs. I do wonder how much of this scraping is for training data and how much instead is for the search functionality that most LLMs provide.
That's a good question, actually. Huh. Well, it depends on the model, because some of them do have a cutoff date. But if we're talking some of the models that are connected to, like, the wider internet that allow you to just, like, search for things that are currently happening, surely there can't be that much search going for these, like, open source projects. Maybe. I guess some of the bigger ones. But I really doubt there's that much for GNOME. I think a lot of it is... Or, like, the KDE project. I feel like a lot of it's gotta be training data, surely.
Right. Nonetheless, according to Schubert, normal crawlers such as Google's and Bing's only add up to a fraction of a single percentage point, which hints at the fact that other companies are indeed abusing their web powers. But it's not just scrapers, or I would have titled this video the AI scrapers, not AI companies. Another issue that open source communities have been fighting with is AI-generated bug reports, as an example. This was the first reported by Daniel Stenberg.
Yep, we've talked about this one on my channel. This is always fun.
Of the core project in a blog post titled "The I in LLM stands for intelligence." Core offers a bug bounty for, when you report a bug, you get money. But lately, they've noticed that many bug reports are generated by AI.
Yep.
These look credible.
Which would be fine if they were finding a real bug. The problem is oftentimes it's either not real or already fixed. It's like, oh, we report a version. It'll be like, oh, here's a bug with curl. And it's like, oh, it's in this version. And you look at it and you're like, oh, yeah, we released a patch to fix that version. Of course that version is still fucking vulnerable because that's the unpatched version.
And take a lot of developer time to check, but they also contain the typical hallucination that you would expect from AIs. It's pretty crazy that we have to go through your own code because a bug report confidently tells you that there's some critical security issue to fix. And then you don't find any issue because the whole issue was just AI hallucination. A similar issue was reported by Seth Larson, who's on the security report triage team for CPython, pip, urlib 3 requests, and many other open source projects. He says, recently I've noticed an uptick in extremely low quality spammy and LLM hallucinated security reports to open source projects. The issue is, in the age of LLMs, these reporters appear at first glance to be potentially legitimate and thus require time to refute. This is a pretty big issue. As he points out, responding to security reports is expensive, and responding to invented but credible bug reports causes some significant additional burden on maintainers, which might drive them out of the open source world entirely. The article ends with a request. Please do not use AI or LLM systems for detecting.
Don't worry, it's only gonna get worse from here. If you think it's bad now, oh boy, you have no idea. You have no idea what the fuck you're in store for. This is only gonna get better. There's only gonna be more of it. There's only gonna be more of this bullshit. Have fun.
Vulnerabilities. He says these systems today cannot understand code. Finding security vulnerability requires understanding of code and understanding of human level concepts such as intent, common usage, and context. Again, I want to point out that these issues impact disproportionately on the free and open source software world. Not only do open source projects often have less resources compared to commercial ones, but being community-driven projects, much more of their infrastructure is public and thus susceptible to both crawlers and AI-generated bug reports on issues. Crawlers. Is that right?
Yes.
It's gotta be right.
Yes.
I'm not recording this video again.
You got it right at the end there. We're in a fun world. We're in a very fun world. AI is everywhere. Everything is getting DDoSed every second of the day. Man. Welcome to the future of FOSS, the future of open source. It's only gonna get worse from here. Oh man, I love this. I fucking love this.